Political campaigns enter home stretch ahead of the much-anticipated August 9th polls. Religious leaders, activists, and different organizations calling for political tolerance ahead of the much-anticipated August 9th polls. Welcome to PLG Politics, Leadership and Governance. We're going to talk about matters of politics, leadership and governance. And of course, I'm not alone in studio. I'm with Bushebi Jr. Welcome, Bushebi Jr.
Asante sana.
Yes, you can join the conversation via our social media platforms, that is Facebook and YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TV KE. Our phone number is 0746 999 841. So, Bushebi Jr., just a quick review of where we are in terms of elections, IEBC preparedness. We see that political campaigns now enters home stretch. Where are we?
We just, the last stretch, like you said, is the home stretch, and everyone is busy, putting the last nail on this campaign. I wanted to use the term that is used for the casket, but I would like to just say it's the last nail on the coffin.
Yes.
Of campaigns. But as you can see, there's a lot that is it's like something is just bubbling. It's like magma in a very active mountain that is just bubbling and almost about to erupt. You can see a number of conferences and press conferences being carried out.
Yes. By
the Kenya Kwanza side. We are seeing Azimio la Umoja continuing like there's nothing wrong going on. We are seeing the state also quiet about whatever the Kenya Kwanza presidential aspirant is raising. And so he's, when you look at the whole scenario, it's IBC says they're ready to go. The only thing that they need from Kenyans is prayers.
Yes.
And so if you look at the whole scenario, and by the way, even Wajakoya and his running mate had an issue a little bit about Wajakoya supporting Raila Odinga and drumming up support for Raila Odinga. And the running mate was saying, I wasn't consulted on the matter.
Yes.
We've also seen Maure coming out to call Kenyans to have peace and maintain peace, and presenting himself as an alternative leadership in the country, and that the country shouldn't focus on Azimio's presidential aspirant and Kenya Kwanza's presidential aspirant. So what we are seeing is, it's the end of the beginning.
Yes.
Because on 9th August, that is Tuesday, we are going to vote, and then after that, we wait to hear who is the next president and the deputy president of the republic. So what we are seeing is not really campaigns, but we are seeing the end of campaigns. Yeah,
and still on the same, in your opinion, do you think that IEBC is ready? We have less than a week to the polls. And of course, we've seen issues arising, especially from the Kenya Kwanza side, alleging that there's plans to rig the elections.
Of course, the issue of rigging elections, anyone who raise a red flag over a matter. Remember, in these elections, we have the referee and we have the players.
Yes.
So any player can raise a red flag and say, hey, listen, we feel like there's a problem here. And there are normal and legal ways of doing it. One of them is writing to the IBC or the DCI or the institutions mandated to, look into these matters. And we've had Azimio la Umoja before saying there are plans to rig elections. They implicated the Ford Kenya Party leader, Moses Wetangula. Then later on, we have seen Deputy President saying there's interference from the state, where the state is using the chiefs and the commissioners, and all these people to try and campaign and, disrupt his strongholds. And so rigging doesn't really mean that somebody will come and steal a vote from you. It even involved somebody just, intimidating maybe your block not to go and vote.
Yes.
You mean that's they have stolen your elections. And so these allegations are there, but they have been made to the right institutions. There is the body of the international observers that are also in the country, also observing what is going on.
Yeah.
We have the police institution. We have the judiciary also in waiting. There are a number of institutions that are, are so much interested and involved in this whole process.
Yeah.
So if there will be any form of rigging, and it can be proved, that will be after the announcement is made.
Yeah.
And whoever is not satisfied with the announcement will go to court.
Yes.
And we saw what happened when Raila Odinga went to court the other time. The elections were nullified. And so, yeah, if there's any mistake that will, force the elections to be cancelled, then it will be cancelled. But the allegations of rigging are there. We've had them. And we are waiting to see what will happen through the mandated legal way. Yeah.
You've mentioned about chiefs and public servants or public officers campaigning for one coalition. We've seen Deputy President William Ruto alleging that the state is using chiefs and administrators to campaign for Raila. What are your thoughts?
I heard Dr. Matiang'i speaking, and he said it is his prerogative to have a conversation with chiefs and sub-chiefs. It's just, so if you ask him not to have a close relationship with them, it's like asking a doctor not to speak to nurses in the hospital. How will things run? He was right in what he said. And William Ruto has also raised the same issue. They are both right.
Yes.
Because if you're observing that something is going on, then you need to raise your red flag. What lacks is a ground where the two can meet and agree. Because we are just seeing all this in the media, and everyone is giving a statement over the same,
Yes.
which simply means they haven't met and discussed this issue. So if there was a platform where they can meet and discuss this matter and bring it to an end, it would be the best for the best of the country. But you see, if everyone goes to the media and just issues statements, the other person is saying, chiefs are being used and stuff like that. Matiang'i says nothing like that is happening. Don't tell me how to do my job and stuff like that. You see, the media becomes the platform where everyone is just saying whatever they want to say. And if anybody feels aggrieved, they go to the media, they issue their statement. But we've seen that is the way politicians sometimes work.
Yeah.
Whenever there's an issue, they feel aggravated somewhere, they will call for a press conference, okay, and tell the people. Because the government is of the people, by the people. So they will go to the people's court and tell them, listen, this is what is going on. Then later on is when now maybe they will leave and go to the institutions mandated. What we lack right now is a platform where all these issues can be ironed out. If what Kenya Kwanza is saying is true, and if what they are saying is not true, do we have a platform to verify these matters? And that is what is lacking in the country right now. Because what we hear is one leader saying, I feel like there's a disruption that is going on at my backyard, and then another one saying like nothing like that is going on, and then that's it. So what next? So what next? Okay? And remember, election period evokes a lot of emotions. And most of the times, politics is a very emotive issue. And politicians, as much as the way they speak, sometimes there are things that they can say that can burn the country. And that is why we are calling on the leaders. Can you please have a platform where most of these grave issues can be addressed? If you listened to what Kenya Kwanza was saying, those are grave matters. Somebody needs to address them. Whether IEBC or any institution mandated in the country to do that, let somebody, say something. And Deputy President was talking to Uhuru Kenyatta and was telling the president, please, you're still in power. Can you say something? Can you, address this issue? So, which means there is no conversation or platform where these leaders can meet and iron out these issues. Yeah, that is what we need in the country to avoid a lot of confusion. Remember, Kenyans have no problem. In fact, Kenyans will go and vote peacefully. Kenyans have no problem. The problem comes from the leaders. When leaders feel like they are aggravated, when leaders feel like their interests are not going to be achieved, when leaders feel like their interests have been looked down upon, they make statements. And out of statements is when now wananchi wanatumiwa kama nyasi. Wakati fahali wanafanya nini? Wanapigana. So Kenyans have no problem. Kenyans are so peaceful, by the way. But leaders should be careful at this time over what they say and their interests that they are trying to pursue. They shouldn't just come out and, and use any platform. Can we have an alternative platform where leaders can iron out these issues? And some of these platforms are the DCI. We have the IBC, which is the referee. We have the judiciary. They can go to court, like the way Kenya Kwanza was denied Nyayo and they went to court, and that is where you can meet and argue your case. But now on these other issues that have been raised, they are touching on security matters, something that no ordinary Kenyan would want to talk about. Because what do you know about security? What do you know? It's only the president and those ones mandated who really know the security of the country. Okay? Huwezi amka asubuhi tu kama Mkenya ukasema security sasa iko hivi iko namna hii. How do you know? Have you been briefed? You don't have the intelligence, the resources, the tools to know exactly what is going on. But if somebody has access to, the status of security around, then there must be a platform where these issues can be ironed out. And that is very important at this time. So that we don't have a door or a window or a loophole where any rogue person can use to cause disruption. Yeah.
And as of now, wanasema wanasiasa wako katika kampeni za lala salama, and politicians they have somehow abandoned all references to their manifestos and gone hammer and tongs at each other with insults. What do you say about that?
Exactly what I was saying. There's no other platform where, why would I insult you? Why would I insult you? It's because I'm not okay with you. Okay, there's something that I'm not happy about. Okay, yes. So I don't have a platform like this one where we can sit and iron out these issues. So the next thing is where whenever I'm on the podium, all I will do is just spew hate and talk a lot of abuses to you, because there's no other platform. We won't meet again. Okay, maybe we will meet and shake hands after elections, but for now there's no other platform. So the platform becomes the IEBC, because that is the referee. Chebukati right now is the main guy to watch. His word, Kenyans will take his word. Politicians will take his word. So whenever he sees that some of these issues being raised can cause some form of disruption in this election process, then he needs to, come out. In fact, Chebukati should be giving press conferences from morning till evening. He should be addressing all issues, not just for William Ruto or Raila Odinga or Maure Ojakoya and other leaders. Even for you. You as a Kenyan, if you raise an issue, then you should be able to address them. In fact, there is I think in that IBC, there's an IBC group, WhatsApp group, where at least, in fact, all Kenyans should be in that WhatsApp group. There's a WhatsApp group for IBC. I'm inside there. All you need to do is, let me look at the number. Let me try and get the number. It's 20287700. Yeah, that is 020287700. Okay. Once you save that number, then all you need to do is send a WhatsApp message, and you will get all the details about whatever is going on. You can call IEBC toll-free hotlines 1543. You can, another number is 1544. They will, give you all the details about election and what is going on. So these are the platforms.
Yeah.
And there's a call center, and this is one of them. IEBC has a communication center, where even if you as an ordinary Kenyan would want certain information about whatever is going on, the commission should be able to address your issue. So I believe that what lacks right now is a trusted, platform where our leaders can sort out their own issues. Instead, when one is beaten somewhere, another one is laughing on the other side and hurling insults. Tumewalima, leo tumewatwanga. Then at the end of the day, Kenyans are the ones who are left wondering, hawa ni watu gani wako wanaongea? Yes. So this issue of insults, in fact, it should stop. I have no idea why it's not even in the Constitution. In fact, some of the words should just be listed and placed in the Constitution, like never speak these words during election. Yeah,
I think that we'll tackle that part. I'd like us to talk about NCIC maybe in our second part for now, which I believe it will tackle all the insults that politicians are spewing out there. Now, Bushebi Jr., I'd like us to talk about opinion polls. We've seen a number of opinion polls have come out since in the last 1 week. Can you say that opinion polls determine the election results?
They don't really determine the election results. Election results are determined by voters. But they can influence how voters actually cast their vote. It can influence an undecided group to make a decision. It can be used to convince somebody to move from one coalition to another. So it's just one of the many tools that can be used to, influence voting, but it can't really determine the outcome of election. Number two, it can give you a picture of how things are. Okay, in a certain region. I'm talking about honest opinion polls. We have opinion polls all over. We have Facebook, social media opinion polls, where somebody just wakes up and throws a question in a group. Maybe the group is for a particular coalition. Okay? And then if the whole group has 20,000 members, they all belong to a certain coalition. And then you ask a question there that between this person and this person, who's going to win? Of course, that's a false opinion poll. All your people are going to vote for one person. So you need opinion polls, true and trusted opinion polls, can give you a clear picture about the voting patterns, but it cannot really determine the outcome. We've seen so many opinion polls even before. Raila Odinga has always been ahead in all opinion polls, but he has never been the president. So what does that tell you about opinion polls? Okay? But they can be used. And number two, on the negative, opinion polls can also be used to forge propaganda. Okay? A narrative that we have already won. You've not won. You've not won, and in fact you might fail. You might never win. Okay? So opinion polls can be used to create a false narrative and a false hope. Okay? That you are at the top. In fact, Raila Odinga has been ahead in all opinion polls. He was ahead of Uhuru Kenyatta in all opinion polls. Okay? At that time, and because Kenyatta was going to ICC and William Ruto were going to ICC, and at that time it was Raila, preferred candidate. And in the two consecutive elections, Uhuru Kenyatta became president. Okay? So if you use opinion polls to determine whether I'm going to win or not, then you're lying. Okay? It just gives a picture for you to dig deeper and go to the ground and find out, is this thing true? Okay? We've seen some of the opinion polls that say Raila Odinga is leading in Rift Valley, in areas where it's just obvious that it is Ruto's home turf. So people question, how is this true? How can this be true? I mean, and we've seen opinion polls that say William Ruto is leading in strongholds where you know very well it's Raila Odinga. and you're like, inayo walifanyaje, walipigia watu gani, walituma watu kwa wakapiga simu ama ilikuwa namna gani? And again, there have been allegations that opinion polls are sponsored by the same presidential candidates. So if you want a company to do an opinion poll for you, just give them some money and they put you ahead. We are not sure about that, but it's something that is has been talked about before too. Yeah. So opinion polls cannot really determine the outcome of an election.
Yeah, but you say that it can sway.
It can sway, yeah. Depending on how you use it. You see, when opinion poll places you ahead of me, okay?
Yeah.
It is my job to trash that opinion poll, which means it gives me energy to campaign even more.
Yeah.
And for you, even if you know maybe the opinion poll is lying, okay, you have managed to steal some of my votes. So that is how it depends on how you use it. Like I said, politics is a game. It depends on how you use every information that you have on the table. Okay?
Yeah.
Because someone was telling me that, you know, when you realize uko unashindwa mahali, tafuta opinion poll. Ikuweke mbele. It can give you some mileage. But you see, it's lying.
Yeah.
So you cannot really depend on opinion poll and say, you know, I've been ahead, I'm always ahead, so I must win. No. You might be shocked.
You've just said that opinion polls can also create a ground,
yes,
maybe to dispute elections.
It can.
Yeah, we've seen the Kenya Kwanza team saying that Azimio is using the opinion polls to gain ground so that they can dispute the results of the elections. In your opinion, as a political analyst, do you agree with the issue of opinion polls? Should we have opinion polls, or maybe it's kuna yule ambaye anajua candidate wake amekuwa na lead, then eventually when the results are out, unfortunately his or her candidate is not the winner? Like
I said, opinion polls are just that, an opinion about a certain person. It's carried out, it can be done on 1,000 people. There are over 20 million Kenyans who are adults who have not said a word. They have only asked around 1,000 people. That gives a picture of the 20 million. Okay?
Yeah.
So what politicians do is that they can use an opinion poll to do mental brainwashing. Okay? Just to brainwash your followers that you see what? Hii kitu tumechukua. But in real sense, in reality, only 2,000 people were interrogated. And 20 million people are going to vote. Okay? So 1,000 people and 20 million, and then you find yourself maybe, I'm saying 20 million because I'm just giving a rough number. Somebody else will say 20 million, but I'm just giving a number. 20 million people, let's say they vote. And out of 20 million votes, you only get 2 million. Okay? Opinion polls are just that. They are not votes. They are just opinions of people. And trust me, they keep changing. I can give you an opinion right now that I support a certain candidate. The next 2 hours I've changed my mind. But with voting, it's once. Once you voted, that's it. Okay? So I can change my mind even at the ballot. I can decide which I saw another post where somebody was saying, sisi ni wale tunaamulia kwa ballot. Akifika pale anafanya abracadabra, nani anaweza kuwa president na anaamulia hapo anachagua mtu. So we have those kinds of people.
Yes.
So what do opinion polls have, or effect do they have on such people? Okay?
Yeah.
Opinion polls are just used, it's just a campaign tool. That it can either work for you or against you, depending on how you use it. But politicians can use that as a ground to reject elections.
Yeah.
Because it only brainwashes their followers to think and believe that we have already won, when actually you haven't won. Listen to all the campaigns. Everyone, William Ruto is saying he's the next fifth, he's the fifth. Okay? Raila Odinga is saying he's the fifth. In fact, if you look at their posters, they are all the fifths. How many fifths do we have right now? We have 4 of them. All of them are fifths. But you see, at the end of the day, only the votes will decide who becomes the next president of Kenya. Not opinion polls. Opinion polls are not votes. And so nobody should brainwash you that just because an opinion poll says so and so is ahead, then they have already won the elections. Okay? So it can be used negatively by a leader to, reject elections. But you see, rejection of elections is based on the constitutional process. Okay? Yeah. You can't just wake up and say, I reject the elections. On which grounds? Do you have proof that maybe legally something was not done, something was illegal in the process, so that it gives a ground for rejection of elections? But if elections were free and fair, how do you just wake up and say, you can't go to court and say, opinion polls say that I've won, so I'm rejecting these elections. Okay? Yeah. But it can be used as a tool to brainwash people. So that whenever you want to cause trouble, you can actually, tell your people, unajua hii kitu simuliona opinion poll, hii kitu tulikuwa tumechukua. Sasa kuna venye labda wametuibia and stuff like that. But unajua mwananchi, kuna watu huko hawaelewi kwamba hii ilikuwa opinion poll na kuna vote. So these things, we're at a critical stage where Kenyans need to know the truth. That the votes will decide. Yeah. Not the point. No, it is time to forget. In fact, that's why opinion polls have a deadline. It was on Thursday, on Wednesday. Okay, that was the last time opinion polls should be released. No more opinion polls. That is why you saw like 1 million opinion polls all at once, because it was the deadline. No more opinion polls after this. Okay, so opinion poll era is gone, and now we are closing the campaigns. What the reality sasa iko inakuja ni kura. So people should not say because we were ahead in this opinion poll, I must be the governor, or I must be the senator, or I must be the MCA because I was ahead. You can be shocked. Those were just opinions, and most of those guys who were interrogated have changed their minds.
Well, thank you, Bushebi Jr. Let's take a quick commercial break, and in our second part we are going to focus on peace, and we have the body that is mandated to provide cohesion of the country, that is the NCIC, National Cohesion and Integration Commission. We will talk about that in our second part, as we have less than a week to the general elections, and we've seen many organizations, religious leaders, activists, and even the politicians calling on Kenyans to maintain peace during and even after the elections. So we're going for a short commercial break, but continue engaging with us on our social media platforms, that is Facebook and YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TV KE. Our phone number is 0746 999 841. My name is Rida Kering Chibet.
And I'm Bushebi Jr.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with PLG, Politics, Leadership and Governance here on Maisha Television. My name is Rida Kering Chibet, and of course I'm not alone in studio. I'm with the political analyst.
Mtv here.
Yes, we are tackling the issue of politics. We have less than a week to the general elections, and majorly in our second part we're going to focus on the cohesion of the country. After all, we will vote come 9th August and Kenya will remain. So it's time just to select leaders. And niliona mwingine alisema kwamba huu ni wakati wa kupiga kura, si wakati wa kupiga mwenzako. Yeah. So Bushebi Jr., I would like us to talk about NCIC. We have a body mandated to ensure that they curb the insults, hate speech, and make sure that there is cohesion in the country. That is NCIC. Before I just read, or maybe let me just read their functions, then we can continue. Some of the function of this commission, that is NCIC, is to facilitate and promote equal opportunity, good relations, harmony, and peaceful coexistence of persons of different ethnic and racial communities, and advise the government on all matters thereof. Another function is to eliminate all forms of ethnic or racial discrimination and discourage person, institutions, political parties, and associations from advocating or promoting discrimination. Another function of NCIC is to enhance tolerance, understanding, and acceptance of diversity in all aspects of national life. Also promote respect for religious, cultural, and linguistic diversity in a plural society. Another function of NCIC is to plan, supervise, coordinate, and promote educational and training programs to create public awareness, support, and advancement of peace and harmony among ethnic communities and racial groups. Also promote arbitration, conciliation, mediation, and systems of conflict resolution mechanisms. I think this is another part that we are going to focus on. That is the part of mediation. Investigate complaints of discrimination and make a recommendation to Attorney General, Human Rights Commission, or other authority on remedial measures to be taken where such complaints are valid. Another function of NCIC is to investigate on its own accord or on request from any institution, office, or person any issue affecting ethnic and racial relations. Also initiate, lobby for, and advocate for policy, legal, or administrative reforms on issues affecting ethnic relations. Another role of NCIC is to monitor and report to the National Assembly and status and success of implementation of its recommendations. I think that is some of the functions of NCIC. Based on that, in your opinion, do you think that NCIC has performed its duty?
Everything that you've just read is not the work of the NCIC, it's the work of all Kenyans. So currently NCIC, it's just there to document stuff and spearhead a number of projects here and there. But in my own opinion, it's not even their task to be doing all those things. I think Kenyans need to right now, you kutokea kwa nyumba yako na watoto wako na mke wako na mume wako na your whole family, you really need to sit down and have candid conversations about where you want to take your country. Because at the end of the day, one man cannot make a decision for all of you. And you must make a decision for your family. You must make a decision for the future of your children. And whenever you see that leaders are engaging in issues like hate speech, things that you can see clear, especially for those who've been around for some time, especially those who witnessed 2007, those who witnessed clashes during the eras of Moi, and those who witnessed what happened in 2013, 2017, you wouldn't want to go that direction. It doesn't take rocket science to know that it only takes a statement from a politician to set a certain community on fire. And so it's the prerogative of parents to even know where their children are. Okay? It's the prerogative of the church, of the mosque. It's the prerogative of all religious leaders. It's the prerogative of the companies, the businesses, your workers, your employees. You must have a conversation. What is your value? What do you care most about? But you see, I'm sure right now many Kenyans are talking about politics, okay, and really enjoying the exchange between politicians, which is a very bad thing. As you can see, the other day it was Junet Mohammed and Joho, both of senior leaders of Azimio, who actually, shared an edited video of William Ruto saying that, people are not supposed to be in Rift Valley and stuff like that. The first time I came across that video, I just laughed at it and said, this is edited. In fact, it was poor editing. Okay? You can just see that parts of the videos were cut to send a certain narrative. I have no idea why those videos landed on their social media accounts. But those are things Kenyans would share 1,000,000 times. You see, a program that talks about peace, messages that talk about peace, nobody wants to listen. People want things that excite and whip emotions. And at the end of the day, before somebody acts, they must feel. Okay? Yeah. Emotion is a very powerful energy. Before you take action, you must feel it. Okay? I can tell you to run and you will never run. But the moment you feel like running and that feeling becomes stronger, you'll just run. And so these things, these abuses and insults and this kind of negative politics is actually whipping emotions among Kenyans. So somebody has to calm down those emotions. And that person is not NCCK or NCIC or these bodies that we are talking about. That work belongs to you. You need to calm your friends' emotions. You need to calm your sons and your daughters' emotions. You need to calm your congregation's emotion. Okay? Can we change the way we talk right now? As early as now, can we change the way we talk to one another? Let us not be conformed to the language and the culture of these politicians. At the end of the day, William Ruto will never save you. At the end of the day, Raila Odinga will never save you. Mwaure will never save you. They will never make sure you become millionaires in your home. Trust you me, they don't wake up every day in the morning crying and weeping and saying so and so in Budalangi or so and so in Mombasa must make it in life. Okay? So it is up to you to decide the future of your family, the future of your children. That simply means you must calm your friends' emotions down by changing the way we talk. Social media. If you find that something is stupid, you know very well this is just whipping emotions. Why share it? Media is also one avenue, one big avenue that needs to watch out on what it airs. Okay? Yeah. Especially, uko nyuma, wakati siasa ilikuwa inaanza, you can enjoy these things and say anything. Okay? But as it gets to the point where emotions are now bubbling, all platforms, social media, main media, it's called new media, at home, in the church, in the mosques, on the streets, at our work places, we must change our conversation. We should not enjoy discussing what this person said, who said what, and what politicians said. They are not Jesus Christ. Okay? They are not. So it is up to you. You have to decide where you're going. It's not the work of those bodies. You will wait for those bodies to do something. But at the end of the day, if 1,000,000 people are speaking a negative language, what will that body do? What will it do? If a certain community has been whipped so hard, their emotions are so high, what will this body do? Okay? Yeah. So it's up to leaders who care, parents who care, brothers and sisters who care, bosses who care, business people who care, mothers, and everyone to speak the language of peace to one another. Yeah. Don't wait for politicians to say something evil, then you come and say, Tulieni. No. Start now. Talk peace to one another. Because somebody might decide to reject election. Someone might wake up and say, let's go to the street. Somebody might, carry their supporters and go and demonstrate. It is possible. Yeah. That is the worst case scenario. It is possible. You can't just bury your head in the sand and say, God will protect us. No. God will use you to speak peace as early as now. So that when a politician says, Acha twende to protest over something, you say, no, I care so much about my children. Okay?
Yeah.
No. There are bodies that can handle this. Why should we go to the streets and there's a judiciary somewhere? Yeah, if you feel aggrieved, bwana, see, kuna institutions. Just go to judiciary. You're in the court. Okay? Things like that. But you see, when we just leave it like that, then you find that at the end of the day, we're going to have a community or communities that have been, their emotions have been whipped so hard. They have been provoked and pushed to the corner. And what happens? We don't want to go down that lane. We've built a lot of things. We've come a long way. We must mature as a country. And so, it is not, in fact, we should stop mentioning those bodies. Okay? We should have a conversation between you and me. You know? Yeah. We should spend a lot of time on media talking about, let's talk to one another. Let's talk to one another.
Yeah.
Okay? Elections come and go. But your child, you can't joke around with the life and the future of your child. Okay?
Yeah.
So there are some decisions that you have to make. And you have to make them now, not tomorrow, not the other day. So let's enjoy the campaign, the last stretch of the campaign, yes, but the language that we should be speaking right now is peace. And these bodies, in fact, I'm doing their job. They should be the ones on media, every breakfast show, every news bulletin, they should be the one too loud, you know? Just talking to Kenyans, you know, and talking, especially to the young people. Okay?
Yeah.
Especially to the young people.
And time and again, NCIC has been termed as a toothless dog. I'll just refer to the names and phrases that they say that it is illegal. In case you use that word, it is hate speech or it is incitement. They mentioned a number of words there, Swahili words, Sheng words, Kalenjin words, Kikuyu words, and others, and even English words. But we've seen politicians using the same, and no action has been taken against them.
You see, toothless dog is a very strong description, but I would say NCIC has been more reactive than proactive. Okay? Yeah. Because they have always been waiting for something to happen and then react on it. But you have no idea for how long it's been happening. So you just wake up and say, I don't want kitendawili, it's a bad word. Sipangwingwi is a bad word. I mean, you just look at that decision and you're like, okay, God help us. You see, this is the problem. They've just been reacting. And you know, when you're a reactive person, you will never succeed. You'll always be looked at as a failure and somebody who is not ahead of his or her game. You must be proactive. You must define problems that will happen 30 years from now. You must see beyond this election, okay? And then formulate solutions and start acting on them immediately. Don't wait for a politician to abuse somebody and then come out also with a statement that you want to read. Okay, right now we are talking about a drive, a civic education about this election. Who is doing it? In fact, media houses are struggling. Tell Kenyans, you know, have peace, things will be fine and stuff like that. Have you had anyone coming even to say, these bodies that you are saying, coming to say that now we want to be part of this and stuff like that? How many projects are being done right now in the name of peace? They are done for news. Okay? Because if you are serious about this, you wouldn't do things for news.
Yeah.
Okay? You would do it on the ground without going, whether it goes to the news or it doesn't go to the news, who cares? Okay? So you need to have, in fact, we don't need to go deep into discussing now NCIC, because some of those descriptions actually fit them because they have been reactive more than proactive. And a reactive person is somebody designing his or her own failure. Okay?
Anangoja hadi shida itoke ndio anatokea.
Ndio anatokea. Shida zitakutandika, utakutana na moja, ujue unatokea wapi, unaenda wapi. You will also go into hiding. Okay? But where have they been for the past 5 years? Okay?
Yeah.
If you know that Kenya has had a history of this kind, what solutions have you come up with? and then run them for fun. So at the end of the day, when elections come, it finds a strong community that has been shaped by NCIC.
Yeah.
Okay? So NCIC becomes a government on its own. Wakisema kitu, everyone listens. But you see, we've allowed politicians, in fact, when a politician says something, trust you me, people listen to politicians more than they listen to their own parents. They listen to politicians more than they listen to their own pastors and religious leaders. Trust you me. That's how bad it is. We've allowed them just to run with their narrative. They have brainwashed everyone. Right now, a politician, in fact, all you need to do is say, I'm vying. Or threaten to vie.
Mheshimiwa.
Yeah, anza tu kujiita mheshimiwa. You will have a huge commanding. Jiite pastor, jiite chef, jiite sijui nani, jiite hizi majina zingine na titles zingine. In fact, we used to value doctor and engineers. These days, and lawyers, these days hata hazina power sana compared to mheshimiwa. You see? So that's why everyone is running to become a mheshimiwa. Can we have these bodies going to the grassroots, dealing with the generations that are younger, the 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, okay? Can they deal with them as early as possible? So by the time, elections come, one word from NCIC is enough to cure everything. But right now, it is one word from a politician. And when you come to react to that, they tell you, Nyamaza, what will you do? You'll come out and say, we summon you or summon vitu gani. They just ignore what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yes. Another point that a function of NCIC that I mentioned is about promoting arbitration, conciliation, mediation, and similar forms of conflict resolution mechanisms. In the past, 3 years, we've seen what has been happening between the president and his deputy, that is President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto. Just in your opinion, I know that you've mentioned a lot about NCIC. Now, umesema tuachane na mambo ya NCIC. This is upon us. As a role mandated for this body to ensure that there is conflict resolution mechanisms by mediating, conciliation between, especially that position, that is the presidency. What do you think should be done in future in case we have the next government? Because I'm sure Kenyans will not want to be treated in the same way they've been treated with the Uhuru Ruto government in the past 3 to 4 years.
The only way NCIC can achieve that is, you see, you only threaten a politician when you have a following. Okay? When you have a crowd. When you have 1 million, you're a leader of 1 million people. That is why it is rare to see a politician going to a church with around 20 people. They always want masses. Does NCIC have any following? Even on social media, how many people follow NCIC? If they do a press on social media alone, how many people will watch? Okay? So they don't really have that much following.
Yeah.
When you have a politician with 2 million followers, both on Twitter and Facebook, combine all of them, it's around 6 million. What are you going to do? How are you going? Akiongea aambie watu yake endeni mtembelee huyo watu ya NCIC hapo kwa ofisi. What are you going to do? That's what I'm telling you. It is hard. That's why politicians cannot listen to them.
Yeah, in fact, NCIC in their Facebook page, they have a following of 17,000. Yeah,
just 17,000. When you have a media house with 2 million, when you have a politician with 2 million, and you only have 17, why should they even listen to you? Okay? So some of these things, NCIC also needs to evolve. Okay? They need to cultivate a cult-like following so that people can listen to them. Ndo wakiongea waambie president na deputy kujeni hapa, sisi atupendi maneno yenye nende. They will listen.
Yeah.
They will listen. Trust me, they will listen. In fact, even one of the reasons why nobody listens to the church today, wachana na NCIC, the church that has shaped the character of Kenya, okay? The church that has preached so hard so that we don't have many robberies. We have people who trust God and believe in hard work, and they have helped to instill family values among many Kenyans. In fact, I don't know if there's any Kenyan who was born in a family that doesn't have a church background. I think almost every Kenyan was born in a family where parents had a church background. Okay, in a country where nobody right now, a few people listen to the church. Why is it so? Because I would expect even just one pastor or one and Uhuru Kenyatta kujeni hapa.
NCCK tried.
They tried.
Yes.
They tried. I'm not even talking about these bodies. I'm talking about one person. One person. Okay?
Yeah.
Respected person who can call these two leaders and tell them, sit here. This country is more important than the two of you fighting. Can you have a deal? One person. It doesn't take a whole body and institutions. The reason why it's going round and round and bodies are uniting, let's try and bring Ruto together with Uhuru Kenyatta, communities coming together, trying to talk and stuff like that, it's because the politicians are too powerful. They're too powerful. And in fact, if you see the way they bow to those leaders, you'll be shocked. Sasa kama una niinamia, what are you, the most powerful person? But in my presence, unatetemeka. Na umekuja kuniambia, you want to tell me what to do. How are you going to tell me? Na sio unatetemeka juu unaniheshimu, unatetemeka juu I'm powerful.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a very powerful man. What are you going to tell me?
Yeah, true.
So, going forward, these bodies, religious leaders, they should actually go to the ground and become powerful, reclaim their people. Okay? And next time, don't allow politicians on the altars. Don't do business with politicians. Okay? Then that way, it is possible to win, because watu hawatasikiza politicians, watakusikiza wewe. Sasa wewe ukiongelesha politician lazima akusikize. Because kama anataka kura, wewe ndo uko na watu. So you listen to me, then get to my people. Wewe ndo go between the people na yeye. Mbona asikusikize? But right now they can do this. In fact, you've seen them in church live at 10 in the morning on Sunday. Na akitoka tu hapo nje ya kanisa hapo anasema unaona ule mjinga, matusi inaanza. Na ametoka kanisa tu saizi. Hata alisoma Bible. Lakini akifika pale nje hata dakika mbili ijaisha ameanza matusi. Which means church didn't have any effect on them.
Yeah.
Okay? So if the church itself doesn't have an effect, religious centers don't have effect on these people, then we must ask ourselves, what is it? What power do these guys have that we don't have? That Kenyans can listen to a politician. That wewe Rida Kiring unaweza enda pale uambie wa Kenya 20, let's go this way, na unakuambia hayo achana mambo yako. Mheshimiwa anatokea huko anawaambia hayo watu wangu mko wapi? Tuko hapa, twende namna hii. And all of them go. Ask yourself, what does this person have that you don't have? So what do they have that NCIC doesn't have? Go for what they have. Go to the ground. Initiate ground projects. Talk to the people. Enshrine the values in schools. Enshrine the values in primary schools. Go after the young people. Not when they are 16, when they are 5, when they are 6. Talk to religious leaders. Let them include these values that you want Kenyans to have in their preachings, in their way of working. Talk to parents. What programs do you have for parents? What programs do you have for parents who are bringing up their children? Are you sure? Do you even know what parents are teaching their children? So by the time they get to the voting age, one word from you will actually set the country straight. Politician atasimama hapo aimbe, wameniibia kura, watamwambia na suende court. I saw another cartoon where William Ruto was saying, mimi nataka nimueleze Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, and there was a mama mboga pale anamwambia na suko na simia
namba yake,
suko na namba yake mpigie. Exactly. If you want to get there, then NCIC must go to the people. William Ruto, Raila Odinga, Mwaure, Wajakoya have never campaigned in an NCIC office. They are always on the ground with the people. What are you guys doing in an office? And then you want to come and tell the people who've spent all their lives with politicians what to do. It can't happen like that.
Yes, I think that you have a point. And as you said, this is on us Kenyans. It is for us to decide come August 9th what will be the outcome. But our call is for all Kenyans to maintain peace as we head towards the general elections. That is during this time, campaign period, during the voting time, and also after the polls. So Bushebi Junior, as we wind up, just your last words to the youths out there, because I know that youths are the most vulnerable group currently during the elections. Politicians are using the youths vibaya pale nje. So just a word to the youths and also to Kenyans at large.
One thing I would just like to tell Kenyans is elections come, elections go. I've seen quite a number of them. And what is more important is what I was just talking about, to tell them what to do. Number two, it is not a do or die thing. This is not the end of life. Whether whoever you are supporting wins or whoever you're supporting loses, there are institutions that can be used if somebody feels aggravated. So every platform should be used to have a conversation about peace. Time your campaign is over. Time your polls, opinion polls is over. It is time to talk to you, my brother. It is time to talk to you, my sister. It is time to talk to you, my father, my mother, my aunt, my friends, my family members. It is time to talk to you, Kenyans. I'll tell you this. We decide our future. Do not allow somebody else to lead us to any negative future. We decide where our family goes. And so peace is more important than anything. And to the leaders, this is not the end of the world, not the beginning. Please, spare Kenyans. If you would like to cause trouble, spare them. Spare them and allow Kenyans to have their peace. This country is ours. Let us continue even after the elections, and life will go on. And I'm not just talking about presidential elections. I'm talking about elections, the 6 ballots that we are going to cast. Let us maintain that peace. And God, I'm 100% sure, God will protect this nation, you and me, and everyone else, and we are going to have our country as peaceful as it can ever be.
Asante sana Bushebi Junior, good advice there. Mine is just to the youths, let's maintain peace. Kwa elections fika pale, chukua zile karatasi za kupiga kura. There are usually 6. We have the president, we have the governor, we have the senator, we have a member of parliament, we have the women rep, and also we have the member of county assembly, that is the MCA. Enda pale, the procedure utaonyeshwa na wale agents wa IEBC, vote and go home. Let's wait for the results from the electoral body, that is the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Much appreciation, and thank you so much, Bushebi Junior. We're going to put a pause there for PLG.
Maybe just before you finish, I really want to also applaud the government for allowing the Tononoka, William Ruto, to go ahead with the Tononoka rally. Yeah, because it's you know, there was a Buhungu saga, and you know, these are things that just whip emotions that I was talking about. So just allow everyone to finish up whatever they were doing. And so I really laud and praise the state for allowing him to have his rally. I think that is the best thing that can ever happen. Even at Nyayo, let him do his thing and go home, like the way Raila Odinga did. Uhuru just allowed him to, you know, swear himself in. And at the end of the day, go home. Yeah. There's no need for war. So that, let's learn from that. Yes.
Yeah. So Asante Bushebi Junior, we're going to put a pause there for today, but you can continue with this conversation via our social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TVK. You can also subscribe on our YouTube channel, that is Maisha Television Kenya, and you can follow or like our Facebook page, that is Maisha Television Kenya. My name is Rida Karin Chibet, and my guest today was Bushebi Junior. Thank you so much for being with us. Stay tuned for more programs.